So you might be asking, you might be of a similar age to me, you might even be in your teens, you might be 20, you might be 25, you might potentially be in a job you don't like. And the metrics show that around 60% of the population, let me look at this quickly, percentage of population unhappy with their job. 60% of people report being emotionally detached at work, and 20% report being miserable. Do you really think that's healthy? That 60% of the population are unhappy with their jobs and 20% are flat out miserable? That's not what we were put on this earth for. We wasn't put on this earth to be miserable in a job that we don't enjoy going to. With purpose comes pleasure. If you don't feel like you're serving your purpose when you go to work, then what are you doing? And I can sit here and tell you it's not your fault, but regardless of what age you are, it is. Because you control where you go. Like, you are a byproduct of your own decisions. The reality is you've got to take extreme ownership and say, I am where I am now because of the action I took. Not because of any other action that anybody else took, but because I took this action. Somebody can tell you to do something, but on your own will, you can do something else. So it's just a case of how can you break away and how can you do what I did, which was completely leave that and just go all in on what I genuinely love doing. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's going to be a walk in the park or you can do it in 2 weeks. You've quite literally got to say to yourself, I am okay with not making a single dollar for 5 years, because after those 5 years I will reap the rewards of my labour. Now, I'm not saying it's going to take 5 years, but you've got to have that expectation. Anything earlier is great, but then at the same time, if it takes you longer, then you expected that. That's okay. Always prepare for the worst case scenario. So in this video, I'm going to run you through exactly what I would do if I was to start from ground zero again and get to $10,000 a month. Let's get right into it. Okay, so I've compiled every single video I've made on this channel, every piece of value that I've provided, and I'm going to break it down in these 5 different Miro boards. Let's get into it. Your ability to act is directly proportional to the result that you get. It is a common known equation that if you act, you will get a result. Whether it's a positive result, a negative result, you will get a result. If you eat shit for 6 months every single day, the result of that is going to be you feel like shit, you look like shit. Therefore, it is a known fact that if you put action in, you get a result. So you can't argue with me on that one. It boils down to this OODA loop. And the first part of this is observe. Now, OODA loop is what I think it was like aircraft people used to use to make quick decisions when they had to in war and things like that. OODA stands for observe, orient, decide, and act. And it initially starts out when you decide to observe. Observe your surroundings, then you orient, then you decide on the action you're going to take, and then you actually act. Now, your ability to go through this OODA loop is directly proportional to how quick you're going to take action, therefore how quick you are going to get a result. Now, one thing that I've noticed with me, and it's not a talent, it's not a gift, it's a skill that I've developed, is my ability to quickly go through the OODA loop is very strong. So as soon as I observe something, I orient, then decide as to which piece of action I'm going to take, and then I act on it. I do it very quickly, which is why I believe I've been able to scale my agency so quickly and get out of a bad situation and flip it into a good situation in life in less than 10 months. So keep this in mind when you need to make a big decision in your life. Maybe you're in high school, you want to leave, you want to go all in. Observe your surroundings. Okay, I'm in high school. Is this place surrounding me with positive people, people that are pushing me forward and aligning myself with the identity of who I want to become? No. So then orient and then just decide, like, make a decision. Does it make sense for me to continue in this system if I don't feel that it aligns with who I want to be? No. What is the decision I'm going to make? I think the decision I'm going to make is I'm going to go all in on SMMA, for example, and then you act. Stop delaying the outcome. By delaying the action, you're delaying the outcome. You're delaying the result you're going to get. So just act. Just act. Business is just like, you're just going to create a big mess. I'm experiencing this now. I've created a big mess that's making me money, and now I need to tidy it up and refine my systems. But it all boils down to the OODA loop. And this is one of the very first videos I ever made. This is you now. You're at the bottom of the stairwell. You're in your current situation. And you probably have a vision in your head of your desired situation, which, by the way, will never go away because it will always be changing. It will always be shifting. So you'll always never feel happy in the moment. So first off, you in the current situation needs to be happy now. And if you're not, because of the situation you're in and who you are as a whole, that's okay, because you can get to the top of this stairwell. But I'm telling you now, as you start to climb up these stairs, you'll start to feel happiness within yourself. And you'll start to realise when you get to the top of this stairwell, maybe you want to get to 10k a month, for example. You'll realise that the happiness and the contentment and the joy and the excitement is within climbing those steps and levelling up as a person, not reaching the end goal. When you first start out, you think the end destination is what you're working towards. It's not. The journey and the stairwell is so much more fulfilling and so much more exciting when you've got something to work towards. Remember, life is not survival of the happiest, it's survival of the fittest. If cavemen hundreds of years ago were just happy with where they were now and they didn't have something or a vision in their mind of where they needed to get, they would die. They wouldn't get food, they wouldn't find shelter, they wouldn't stay warm. Therefore, the brain is wired to be constantly evolving, adapting and improving, not to be happy. Happiness isn't something that you get to. It doesn't come with a certain goal. It's something that you decide to be. Just decide to be happy now. And if you can't decide to be happy because of your current situation, then get out of it. Just act. You know what you need to do. Just ask yourself, what do I need to do to get to the top of that stairwell? Okay, I want to make 10k a month. That's the top of the stairwell. That's the first thing. It's not the goals that separate the successful from the not successful. It's the action, the things that move the needle that they do on a daily basis, the small atomic habits. What's going to separate you from somebody who just sets goals and somebody who actually acts and turns them into reality? The action you take on a daily basis. Maybe you want to become a sales rep. What's going to be the first thing you're going to need to do? Practice sales, indulge in content, take notes, role play, apply for jobs. Maybe you want to get fit. You want to get a six-pack. What's the first step to that? What's the first step on that staircase you need to take? Dial in your eating, dial in your diet, start eating healthy, start tracking your food, start tracking your workouts, start working out consistently. It's common sense, but you get the point. The stairwell and the journey is much better than the desired situation, but you only realise that when you get to the desired situation. Okay, moving on. Next board. This is all down to acquisition. If you want to get to 10k a month, your worry should not be on service delivery, retention, all of that jazz. It is purely on acquisition, the first piece of the puzzle. Acquisition, service delivery, retention. That is the order as to which this goes in. With service delivery comes retention, once you start dialing that in. But there's a lot of other factors that dial into that as well. You need to dial in acquisition first. Because if you know, for example, if I was to say, I put $100 in paid ads, I know I'm going to get $200 back every time. You're printing money that way. You're a win-win situation, regardless of if you have a shit service delivery, if you have a shit product. You know you can make money. You know you can sell, which is the key core component to that. So, for example, and this just drills down to warmth of outreach. So the likelihood of showing up to appointments is directly proportional to the warmth of the outreach. So initially, you're not going to be able to afford paid ads. Maybe you can't even afford instantly to do emails. Maybe your only option is cold calling. That is the coldest form of outreach that you can do. Therefore, the likelihood of them showing up to the appointment is going to be significantly lower. And as you go to the right end of the spectrum, which is emailing, paid ads, and the best of all, referrals and word of mouth, they're going to be much more likely to show up to the appointment and actually close. Keep in mind, it will be tough. But you can see here, the more money you make, the more deals you close, the more outreach you do, you can keep leveling up on this ladder, and you can level up in terms of the warmth of outreach that you can do. So everything should be acquisition within your first 6 months, and I truly believe that. Dial in acquisition and then worry about service delivery. Next thing, and this really helped me out, literally throw everything that goes into your business on a Miro board. Or maybe just a presentation. I've got improvements on here. And this, I haven't used this in like months and months, but you can see here, I was constantly putting things on here. I was going to implement a referral program, weekly Q&A calls, create a course with a 7-figure med spa on retention, my offer, my guarantee, my ad spend, my setting appointments service delivery system. So organic content, Instagram, Facebook, email, paid ads. I broke down everything that went into the machine, the input I needed to do, because this is what separates people that actually achieve their goals to the people that just say they will. They break them down into minute daily pieces of action. So you can see here, I knew every week I would need to create 4 reels, send 400 Instagram DMs, send 100 Facebook DMs, send 1,000 emails, and spend $30 on daily ad spend to achieve my desired result of getting my target weekly calls booked of 20 calls. And then I broke down the numbers. Okay, how am I going to close those appointments? What's the framework I'm going to use? What's the rate of them showing up? And then it boiled down to service delivery, retention, new things I was testing. Plan out your entire business on a board. And it's going to be a mess. You can see this is an absolute mess. Half of it doesn't even make sense. But it gave me clarity on exactly what I needed to do on the day-to-day. Final thing, and this looks like it's been drawn by a 5-year-old, I know, basically the point I'm trying to get at here is you can either choose right now to be in pain or pleasure. But if you choose pleasure, over a long period of time, it's going to cause you to be in pain. If you choose pain, over a long period of time, it's going to cause you to be in pleasure. And what I mean by that is, pleasure is, in the now, I'm going to eat shit, I'm not going to exercise, I'm going to scroll on TikTok, I'm going to smoke weed. But over a long period of time, in 5-10 years' time, you're going to be in a whole lot of pain because you haven't achieved anything and you're still in the exact same situation and you're probably depressed. That's the reality of it. But if you choose pain now, if you eat the healthy foods, if you track your workouts, if you consistently work out, if you start doing the uncomfortable things that move the needle in your business, that pain is very quickly going to turn into pleasure because you're going to reap the rewards of seeing the confidence build within yourself, seeing yourself change, and actually having something worth talking about. And you're going to be able to surround yourself with good people too, like people that are on the same wavelength as you. So I hope this video provided some value. Go out and take action, and no, there is no secret sauce to making 10k a month. You do the obvious things for a long period of time.